You know, some brothers asked me, can you give a talk about the miracle of the Qur'an proving Islam is true? I was like, you know what? You probably don't understand. We have to even approach that subject from the Qur'an's own point of view. The Qur'an has its own method of presenting that idea of what makes it miraculous. And it's a combination of two things: evidences, and it's a reliance on human decency. If you're not a decent human being on the inside, no matter how much evidence you see, will it matter? No. So there's no conclusive proving that Islam is the truth for any one person until they find an ounce of decency within themselves. Did Fir'aun see enough evidences? But not an ounce of decency inside, so it doesn't work. Now the magicians were pretty messed up people too, but they had some decency in them, at least a little bit, and that came out when they saw the proof. And so they made sajda immediately. So it's a combination of two things. It's not just purely intellectual exercise for us, that we can prove to you God exists. Why haven't you become Muslim? No. That's one part of the picture. The other part of the picture is the decency one has to have within themselves. Allah asks the human being, demands on the human being that they look within themselves, that they don't become deluded from their gracious Lord after He created them in such balance. So Allah emphasizes this as part of the path to Islam. This is part of the path to Islam. Introspection, looking within oneself. This is part of our da'wah. We don't just ask people to look at the evidences, which is what da'wah has become mostly nowadays, right? We ask people, look at this evidence, look at this scientific miracle, look at this, look at that, look at that. But we've forgotten this part of da'wah that the Qur'an emphasizes so much. Look inside yourself, man. Think about it. Look at how you've been created. Ask your own conscience. This is part of the da'wah. This is part of the way Allah Azza wa Jal presents His profound truth. So, الَّذِي خَلَقَكَ فَسَوَّاكَ فَعَدَلَكَ فِي أَيِّ صُورَةٍ مَا شَاءَ رَكَّبَكَ. Now, this is really important. Here, the words that you need to understand, it started with the word Rabb. Not Khaliq first, Rabb first. And this is at the heart of one of the most common psychological problems in our time that Muslims suffer from and non-Muslims suffer from when it comes to their relationship with Allah, with the divine. Let's just say with the divine. And that is, you know, I don't know how you guys believe in a God when there's so much suffering, and there's so much killing, and so many children are dying hungry, and there's so much disease, and there's so much injustice. You ever heard this argument? You know, and then at a personal level, how can there be a God? I didn't do anything wrong and I lost my job. I didn't do anything wrong and I got cancer. Or my mother died, or this happened, or that happened. And people come to the church and they say, why is God doing this to me? This is a common thing. And you know, unfortunately, it's now starting to happen among the Muslims. Why is Allah doing this to me? I had a brother come to the masjid not too long ago. You know, his mother had passed away. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May Allah enter her into the paradise, right? But he came and he was distraught, apparently, and he said, why is Allah doing this to me? What's my fault in all of this, right? And somebody gets sick. They say, why is Allah mad at me? Why is this happening to me? So first of all, understand some very basic things. Very, very basic things. When Allah said His name to us in the Fatiha, Alhamdulillah, the very next thing He told us about Himself is not Khaliq, is not Malik, is not Ar-Rahman, is not Ar-Rahim. What's the first thing He told us? Rabb, Rabbil Alameen, Rabb. And the thing with rububiyyah, lordship, ownership, complete rights over someone, is that when Allah is, if you truly accept that Allah is not just the creator, He is Rabb. Rabb. He's your Lord, and you have no rights before Him then. A slave doesn't have any rights. Property doesn't have rights. My computer, if this is my recorder, it stops working. Do I have a right to break it? To step on it? To throw it away? Is it going to file a complaint against me? No. It's mine. I made it. Or if I bought it, it's my complete property. Now Allah not only created us, but owns us entirely, has rububiyyah over us. He's our Rabb. Did I pay for my hands? Did I pay for my eyes? I didn't. Did I pay for the kind of face I want? Or even though some deviated people do that nowadays. But did I decide what gender I'm going to be? Did I decide how old I'm going to be? What ethnicity I'm going to be? Who my mother and father are going to be? Was any of this in my control? No. Now, Allah is the one who gave it to me. I didn't pay Him anything for it. And if Allah didn't give it to me, was I entitled to it? I wasn't entitled to anything. I didn't pay for anything. It's all been given to me. So the idea of God owing me, which is a very Christian concept nowadays at least, that God owes us somehow. Allah Azza wa Jal owes us nothing. Because He is what? Rabb. He's Rabb. He owes us nothing. He gives anyway. He's an amazing Rabb. He doesn't owe us, He still gives us. But when somebody is born and they die as a child, or there's death and there's disease and there's calamity and all of these things, when they are there and when they are not there, He is still our Rabb. He's still our Rabb. You can't, it's just like saying, why did He give me 5 fingers? Why didn't He give me 6? It's just like that. We have no control in these things when you accept Allah as Rabb. He's the Rabb and we're the Abd. That's one of the central messages of the Qur'an, because it cuts at the root of all your other questions. When you internalize this really deep, profound reality, you accept that I'm a slave. You walk as a slave. You live, you talk as a slave. You know, a free person and a slave, they have different attitudes. Right? The slave, every time he opens his mouth, what does he think? Is the master listening? Right? He's not going to open his mouth until, he's not going to do something. He's not going to eat something until, I wonder if he's watching. Right? Employees do that. They look at the security camera before they check their email. Or make sure that, the network spy software isn't on, before they browse the web. We're that scared of other forms of mastery. Imagine if you accept Allah as Rabb. Everything you say, every step you take, every breath, everything you look at. يَعْلَمُ خَائِنَةَ الْأَعْيُنُ وَمَا تُخْفِي الصُّدُورُ. Right? That's the attitude of accepting Allah Azza wa Jalla as Rabb. He's the one who created you in this profound fashion. You think He just left you like that without a purpose?